All praise God is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother, Jesus, right of the house of faith, and I count it truly blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to preach the word of God. Never do I count it as a light to do so. Just a little bit about the house of faith. We meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We also live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. If you Peace to you, brother. Isaiah. I did look into that, and I believe it's fixed, brother. I don't know what happened to that page, but on the website, but I believe it should be good now. I mean, I appreciate you, brother, for bringing it to my attention. I just got your message. I've been trying to fix that, and had some issues with getting into the website. So I truly thank you, brother. Yeah, we live talking about the donation to the ministry. 100% of the proceeds go to the work of the ministry. You can do that online at www.israelteach.org. It should be good to go. There's also this book, For Then Should Be Great Tribulation. That's available on Amazon.com and other places where books are sold. I want to answer a question, and I'm going to be brief this evening. Oh, praise the Most High, brother. Praise the Most High. Lord willing, there's more to come, quite a few more. Praise the Most High. What's up, brother? Peace to you. I'm going to try to answer this question. And it's a difficult question to answer. It's a difficult question to answer because, for one, the question is, how are you supposed to honor an abusive parent? Now, this is not a child that's asking the question. This is an adult, okay? And so you walk a fine line because the Bible clearly says to honor your father and your mother, right? But so the question is, what happens? Peace to you, brother Leo. Peace to you, brother Asaph, as well. What happens when somebody's abusive? So I'm gonna just read this, and it says, "Are we supposed to honor abusive parents, even after being an adult and have moved away? Have a family of our own now, because they still throw it in our faces when we want to stay away, that we still need to give them what they want, or else we be dishonoring our parents, even though they are dishonorable people. Should we still bring our children around toxic people? There has already been a bad situation with them hitting our son. They keep telling us that they want to see them, but show they are still in their sinful ways. Do we keep giving them what they want, even though they have not changed? We have tried and tried over and over again, and still the outcome is horrible. My family, my children, myself, are we still to come around them? What is the definition of honor? Please let me know. This has been a struggling situation for us since 2012. I'm quite tired of feeling like going around them will cause me to sin myself and have hate." Okay, so I'm gonna say this. That's a difficult situation to be in when you have family members where you know that's not right. But at the same time, you know what you let me just go to what should be taking place. Let's go to leave us in Ephesians, 6th chapter, and just see something here that Paul writes. Peace to you. Late greetings is right. Yeah, I've been just getting home late, and then I saw that message and was trying to deal with the website. So, yeah, that's what it is. Ephesians 6 and verse, let's see. I'm going to just pick it up at verse 1 because he tells us the order of things. And in this, he tells us also what parents should do. He says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." Okay? And he says, "Honor thy father and thy mother," which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee and thou mayest live long on the earth. Okay, and so in honoring our father and our mother, brothers and sisters, following and honoring those who are above us, it really speaks to also how we're supposed to honor the Father of all, which is the Most High. Okay, so you're supposed to show honor and reverence, right? In the sense of you show that through obedience. Now, it says, but it says something else here. It says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Okay, so what you're not supposed to do is provoke your children unto wrath, right? Because if you're provoking your children unto wrath on purpose, how they gonna serve God? Okay, so that's what he's saying there. Now, let me read it in another place. Let me read another place where it says, it talks about that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 moment. Here in Colossians 3 and verse 18, he says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Okay, so now, just like you in a situation right now where you're trying to obey, you're looking at what it says about obeying your parents and seeing your children, but at the same time, some don't seem right, because you're saying there's abuse, and if there's an abusive deed, what you don't. Let me just say this. If it's just because a lot of this seems like, and I don't know for sure, just reading it, I would have to look at the situation from both sides and actually see or have a in-depth discussion. But if it is, in fact, that a part of this, or the vast majority of this, is that the people are either not in the word of God, or that they're just engaged in behavior that's just, quite frankly, as we would call trifling. Okay? If that is the case, you have to use wisdom. Just like a woman who is married to an unrighteous man, but I use a woman because she is in a position where she's supposed to be in subjection. Okay, so I would suggest, so that woman has to use wisdom in every situation. Okay, you don't want to do anything that's contrary to the word of God in your dealings with people. But let's say hypothetically, but first of all, let me say this. This is just some basic like parenting, okay? Because a lot of parents go through this. A lot of parents, not necessarily that somebody's abusing them or their children, but the parents, you as a parent, you would, a lot of times you determine how you want your child to be raised, of course, and what you want for your child. And you putting them in the hands or in the watchful, under the watchful eye of somebody else, maybe you going out with your spouse or something like that, you know how you want certain things. Okay. So my thing would be, if you're going to be around them, I would say make it on your terms. What do I mean by that? So like, for one, if there's abuse going on, let's say, because if you really think about it, brothers and sisters, when he's talking about obey your mother and father, is he talking about, okay, so if the father, just for example, so if the grandfather, if there's some sexual molestation going on, you gonna bring him around that person? Come on. Nah, I don't think, or grandma or big mama, she like Penny's mama in Good Times, she like to burn the children with an iron. That's what you're supposed to be. You don't if you know something's going on, you don't want to put your child in that harmful situation. But at the same time, if it is that you just got some straight up, like, again, like we use the term, just trifling family members, everybody got them, so this is not me throwing stones. I would say deal with them on your terms. Okay, because if it is that, now if it's abuse, that's a different situation in the sense of, because I don't know what that means. Like I said, I can't tell just by the email. But let me pick it up in Matthew the 15th chapter, because it could seem as if when you read this, if you gotta think sometimes we gotta read in context. This is Matthew the 15th chapter. Matthew the 15th chapter, and I want to pick it up at verse 1. It says, then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees which were at Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders, for they wash not their hands when they eat bread? But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and thy mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die of death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of God in effect by your tradition. And so you sometimes people, in this case, you might look at that, your situation, and say, well, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be doing this. Right? So I would say you need to use wisdom, just like you have to use wisdom anytime you're dealing with somebody that's in the world. Your family, like my family, most of them, many of them, they are in the world, the vast majority. So you can't, I have family members that I was super tight with. I can't do the things that we used to do. So if my dealings with them I have to use wisdom. And it is the same with your parents. First of all, if it's something that I can't, first of all, I wouldn't leave my child with anybody that I can't trust. You know? So at the same time, let's say, I get another example. Let's say your mother's on drugs. Not saying your mother is, I'm just saying. And you don't, obviously that's not something you want to see, but that doesn't mean that necessarily that person can't recover and that person can't see your child or shouldn't be able to see your child, but it need to be under your conditions. So maybe it need to be in a public place, but I wouldn't put myself or my child in harm's way to try to fulfill what their desires to see the child. And maybe, you never know, maybe as an example of seeing you and how things should operate, you'd be surprised that maybe they will change, or maybe they will be encouraged by what you do and seeing how things. I've seen young people. I give you an example of this. I saw this. This is a documentary, and it was a mother and her aunt, and it was a child. It was a young girl. Now the mother, they had on drugs, and the aunt was on, or the grandmother was on drugs. They had living in the projects, right? And this is not me saying disparaging things about people on public assistance, but their life, how they lived their life and how they carried themselves and the decisions that they made with men and the drugs, they were all the wrong decisions. But the daughter, she was born with a resilience that she said, listen, I'm going to achieve, I'm going to excel, and I'm going to do the right thing. And what she did, she ended up going to college, doing the right thing, getting married, something that her mother and the females in her family they couldn't even fathom. And you see them at the end, kind of at the wedding dancing, and she showed them an example of, even though she was a youth, of what you're supposed to do. So I would say this. I would say, don't, because family can be rough. I'm finding that out now at this moment more than ever. Family can be super rough. But you could show them a way, and you could fulfill this potentially. Now, I'm not saying, again, if it's some extreme case, then like I said, I can't tell from that email. But I would meet them on my terms if I'm going to meet them. And I'm going to set up parameters of what listen, this is what needs to happen. This is how I'm raising my child. And oftentimes people respect that. So I would use wisdom. I would use wisdom and hold fast my integrity. And then, if they want to see, because people, one thing, family members, especially parents, they do want to see their grandkids. you know, but I would do it under my terms. And a lot of times you do that. So, or they might not want to be bothered with that. So I would just try to use wisdom. You know them better than I do, certainly. So you would know maybe the approach that you should take, but just have certain parameters. Don't put yourself and certainly don't put your children in harm's way. Okay. And and you could be frank and upfront with people. And I understand sometimes, people don't want to be around your family. I understand that, sometimes it can be dangerous to be around your family, quite frankly. So don't put yourself in dangerous situations, but at the same time, it's a way in which you could let them or allow them to see your child and to see how it's supposed to be. Show them an example. And hold fast to your integrity. Show them an example, and perhaps, but do it on your terms and use wisdom. That's what you're in a tough situation, because I understand what you're trying to do. You trying to do what's right, and they not. So that's always gonna put you in a tough situation. But just try to use wisdom. Okay. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I think that's about it. Sometimes you have issues where it's difficult to answer, because the Bible is not speaking. It's speaking to your situation, but in a way, it's like, it's kind of you in a tough situation. So I would liken it to how a woman, when she is dealing with, like, Abigail, when you're dealing with an unrighteous man, how do you operate? Or what Paul talks about that. And then in that case, even as a parent of a child, and then some grandparents, you don't have to see them every day, like a woman who is dealing with an unrighteous man. And again, I say a woman because she's in a subordinate position. So that's what I would say. That's what I would do. Just dealing with them on your terms. Hold your integrity. Certainly don't put your child in harm's way. I wouldn't, if it's something going on, I would definitely wouldn't leave my child alone with them. But if it's something serious, like, like I said, some serious physical abuse, or some, I wouldn't feel comfortable in putting my child in that situation. That would be wrong. Okay. So, I hope I answered the question. Quite frankly, that's the best I could do on that one. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you again that we have the Household of Faith meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. With that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you will edify.